Watch what happens the moment a human steps into frame. Instant panic, full sprint, gone in seconds. Same story with birds. The second they spot us, they're airborne. Even lions, the so-called kings of the jungle, often choose to avoid us entirely. Which is strange, because physically, we're not that scary at all. No claws, no fangs, no fur. We're slow, soft, and easy to injure. So scientists started asking a fascinating question. Why are wild animals more afraid of humans than almost any other predator on Earth? More afraid than lions, more afraid than bears, even more afraid than each other. In one famous study, researchers played recordings of human voices, lions roaring, and gunshots to wild animals. The human voice alone caused far more animals to flee than any predator sound. To wild animals, we're not just another predator, we're the scariest thing in the forest. And the reason goes back tens of thousands of years, to something we did that no other predator ever could. Today, we're uncovering exactly why humans became the most feared species on the planet. Let's go back to the beginning. Early humans were not the strongest animals on the savannah. We couldn't outrun a lion. We couldn't outmuscle a bear. But we had something no other animal on Earth had ever developed: tools. For the first time in history, a creature could kill from a distance without ever getting close enough to get hurt. Suddenly, the rules of survival flipped completely upside down. And we didn't just have tools, we had teamwork. Humans learned to hunt in coordinated groups. Working together, early humans could take down animals many times their own size. No other predator on Earth could plan, communicate, and strategize the way we could. Over generations, animals that survived encounters with humans were the ones who learned to run at the very first sign of us. That fear became baked into their instincts and passed down generation after generation. Then came another game-changer: fire, a tool no other animal could create or control. Fire meant warmth, protection, and a way to keep even the largest predators away at night. Piece by piece, humans climbed to the very top of the food chain without ever growing claws or fangs. In 2015, scientists gave humans a chilling new title. They called us the super predator, and the data behind it is honestly shocking. A lion typically kills adult prey at a certain natural, sustainable rate. Humans kill adult prey at rates many times higher than other top predators, sometimes over 10 times as much. In the ocean, we harvest fish at a scale no natural predator could ever come close to. Unlike other predators, we don't just hunt the weak, old, or sick. We often target the biggest, strongest, healthiest individuals, the ones most animals rely on to reproduce. Over time, this has actually changed the evolution of entire species, favoring smaller and more cautious individuals. Researchers have found that wild animals actively avoid areas with even light human activity. Some predators, like wolves, have even shifted to hunting almost entirely at night just to avoid crossing paths with us. We call this the landscape of fear, and humans sit right at the very center of it. Our presence alone reshapes entire ecosystems, even in places we never physically touch. So the question becomes, just how deep does this fear actually go? Let's look at some real examples, starting with big cats. In one study, leopards fled almost instantly at the sound of a human voice, far more than at the sound of dogs barking. Badgers changed their entire foraging schedule just to avoid human footpaths during the day. Foxes in cities have learned to recognize human scent from surprisingly far away. Even elephants, animals capable of crushing almost anything in their path, often choose to quietly move away from us instead. Researchers believe elephants can remember dangerous human encounters for years, even decades. Some primates have even developed specific alarm calls just for warning each other about humans. Even grizzly bears, despite being far stronger than us, will usually avoid confrontation and retreat first. Even sharks, one of the ocean's most feared predators, are statistically far more likely to flee from a human than attack one. In reality, humans kill far more sharks every single year than sharks have ever killed humans in all of history. Even baby animals seem to instinctively freeze or hide the moment they detect a human nearby. This fear is often actively taught, passed from parent to offspring, generation after generation. It's almost universal across species, across continents, across generations. But of course, not every animal fears us, and that's actually its own fascinating story. Thousands of years ago, some wolves took a different path, slowly approaching human camps instead of running. Over generations, the friendliest and calmest ones survived best, eventually becoming the dogs we know today. In cities, Some animals have adapted the opposite way, actually losing much of their fear of us. Raccoons, pigeons, and urban foxes have learned that humans often mean an easy meal, not a threat. Some city squirrels are so used to us, they'll practically walk right up and ask for food. Interestingly, the same species can behave completely differently depending on its environment. In protected areas where hunting is banned, animals often become noticeably calmer around humans over time. But in areas where hunting still happens, that same species remains constantly on high alert. This tells scientists something powerful. This fear isn't purely instinct. A huge part of it is learned, which means, in theory, that fear can be unlearned too if we give animals a real reason to trust us. Some conservation projects are already testing this, proving that consistent, safe human presence can slowly rebuild trust. So maybe the story isn't just about fear, it's about what we choose to do with our power. Now here's where things get really interesting. This fear doesn't just affect individual animals. When animals avoid an area out of fear, it can completely change what grows and survives there. In Yellowstone, when wolves were reintroduced, deer became too afraid to graze near rivers. Riverside trees grew back for the first time in decades, which improved habitats for birds, fish, and beavers. Scientists call this a trophic cascade, one species' fear rippling outward to reshape an entire ecosystem. And because humans trigger even stronger fear than wolves, our impact on these cascades can be even bigger. Studies have shown that simply restricting human access to certain areas can dramatically shift animal behavior. Without the constant fear of humans, animals spend more time feeding, resting, and raising their young. Constant fear isn't free, it costs animals real energy, stress hormones, and time they could spend surviving. Some research even suggests that chronic fear of humans can reduce reproduction rates in certain species. As human presence keeps expanding across the planet, this landscape of fear keeps growing right along with it. Which raises a much bigger question than just why animals are scared of us. So what do we actually do with this power we've had all along? Around the world, conservationists are working to create spaces where animals can exist without constant fear. Wildlife corridors let animals move safely between habitats, without ever needing to cross paths with us. Protected national parks have shown that when hunting stops, animal behavior can genuinely change for the better. New technology, like camera traps and drones, lets us study animals without ever needing to get close at all. Even simple solutions, like better fencing, are helping farmers and wildlife share land more peacefully. In some regions, local communities are finding creative ways to coexist peacefully with even the largest animals. Education plays a huge role too, teaching new generations to see animals with respect instead of fear or dominance. It turns out, humans don't have to be the scariest thing in the forest. That's actually a choice. The same intelligence and power that made us feared could just as easily make us protectors instead. It won't happen overnight, but small changes in how we live are already making a real difference. And maybe someday, animals won't have to run the moment they see us coming. So let's bring it all together. Animals fear humans because for tens of thousands of years, we've been the deadliest, smartest predator on the planet. Our tools, our teamwork, and our sheer efficiency made us more terrifying than lions, bears, or wolves combined. That fear didn't just shape individual animals, it reshaped entire ecosystems around the world. But we've also seen that this fear isn't permanent. It can be reduced and even rebuilt into trust. The same power that made us feared gives us the ability to protect, restore, and coexist instead. It really comes down to a simple question. Do we want to remain the most feared species on Earth or become one of its most trusted protectors? Let us know what you think in the comments. Have you ever had a wild animal run from you? And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next deep dive into the animal kingdom. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. See you in the next video.